$90,000 for one gray point? Let's get into it. Another week, another list of the comic books that are selling for record-breaking prices in what's being described as a cold, chilly market. Hit the like, slap the subscribe, and at the list, at number 10, Jem, why don't you hit him with some horror OG goodness?
Would you consider this horror? I mean, I guess they are Halloween-inspired characters from the Addams Family, issue number 1 from 1974, which spun multiple movie adaptations and a current Netflix series called Wednesday, which is the second most streamed show on their platform.
Wednesday being featured prominently on the cover of this comic book, and we have a Whitman variant to discuss. This is a comic book reprint that was distributed within a multi-pack that got the Whitman label on it, and a 9.4 came to market for the first time, selling for $615.
Which is the highest graded slab on the census. There are only 9 of the Whitman variant there, including one of these 9.4s. There's one 9.0, which the last GPA sale is also its record high, selling for $100 in April of 2017. There's one lonely 8.0, 3 7.5s, which had a higher sale than the 9.0, selling for $199 in November of this year. And there are 2 7.0.
Have you seen Wednesday on Netflix? What are your thoughts on Jenna Ortega's take on the Wednesday character? And next on the list at number 9 is who I think Eminem's favorite artist is, because he has him do all of his variant covers with Mighty Avengers number 3, the Salvador La Roca Eminem variant debuting in 2014.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that somebody went and purchased this due to all the hype surrounding the recent Amazing Spider-Man issue 1 Eminem variant that took the internet by storm, selling out immediately and then going for insane prices on the aftermarket. Somebody was smart to go hunt down Eminem's first cover appearance, and we have a CGC 9.8 that broke record here. Now, there are 232 total slabs on the census, which includes 144 9.8s. Now, the last time this book broke record, it sold for $575 in August of this year. It's up 22% now, selling for a smooth $700.
Interestingly enough, this book would only be distributed in the Detroit area, where Marshall Mathers was from, Eminem. Eminem is a huge comic book fan that in 2009, he found himself in a comic-sized item that was only distributed in Insert in XXL magazine, a story with him and the Punisher. And you know the interior and cover artist was Salvador La Roca.
Moving on to number 8 on the list, we have the first appearance of Deadpool in New Mutants 98, but we're talking about that MJ.
That 4-page insert, the Mark Jeweler ad, sold in April of this year at a 9.0 for $505, up, wait for it, 98%, hot damn, for a new all-time high at $1,000. This book, without those 4-page inserts, would only be around $350 to $400. That's a near 50% markup for that ad.
98%, shout out New Mutants. Wait a minute. We know Deadpool's coming with Deadpool 3 being introduced into the MCU. He's bringing Hugh Jackman along with him, giving us Wolverine in the MCU. So much hype surrounding Deadpool. Moving on to number 7, we have Thor 166 from 1969. We're talking about the second full appearance of him.
We have the classic battle that would begin one issue prior in Thor 165. This is before him would be known as Adam Warlock. However, this is the second full cover appearance and this classic battle and a very wanted comic book. We have Adam Warlock to be portrayed by Will Poulter and is going to be premiering not in Marvel Premiere 1, but in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
There are 833 total graded comics on the CGC census, and that includes one lonely 1.8. We have 89 9.0s, 71 9.2s, 72 9.4s, and 34 9.6s. The last GPA sale was in December of 2021, where that sold for $1,020, a little bit short of its all-time record high just a couple months prior, where it sold for $1,785.
There are 12 9.8s on the census. We haven't seen one sell since 2019, where it sold for $1,580. I imagine that we'd see an uptick, quite a large uptick, if one of those came to market. We may actually get a chance to see one as we draw near to the film. The 9.2 came to market this past week, last selling in 2021 for $548, blasting past that record, 70% increase with an all-new high of $930. This book at a 9.2 will break 1,000.
Can't wait to see what they do with Adam Warlock in the MCU. Looking forward to Guardians Volume 3. As we move along to number 6 on this list, we've got Showcase, issue number 8 from 1957, the second appearance of The Flash, Barry Allen.
This is also the first appearance of Captain Cold, one of the Flash's most nefarious villains. And as of right now, we are still getting Ezra Miller Flash in 2023, and I am shocked.
Legends of Tomorrow wrapped up earlier this year. Next year, we get the final season of The Flash on the CW, and we're kind of unsure of Barry Allen's future in the movies. There are 273 total slabs on the CGC census, which includes 6 8.0s. The last GPA sale was $5,079 in November of 2011. The record high was set in August of 2007, where it sold for $6,991.
There's only one 9.0. No sales record of that. And the highest graded copy that exists is a 9.2. There's only 2 of them that exist. And the last time one sold was this year in April when it hit $36,000. Justifying this new increase at the 3.0, last selling in 2020 before the comic boom for a total of $1,600, blasting past that this past week with an increase of 43% with an all-new high of $2,280. Can I get a hot damn in the chat for Barry Allen?
These sales are happening so fast, you don't need the Speed Force to track them. You can just use the Key Collector app.
Key Collector Comics, available for both Androids and iPhones, puts out a runners-up list. The record-breaking sales that don't have enough sales within grade to land on the Hot 10, and they end up here. We only picked 10 of this much larger list that exceeds traditionally 35 to 40 different comics. And there's a bunch of holiday issues that broke records this last week. Let's go through a couple of them as we set you up for number 5 on the list.
Midway through the list, and collectors are feeling the holiday spirit with multiple holiday-related comics making the list. We have 4-Color 61, which is the origin of Santa Claus, and 4-Color 359, which is the first appearance of Frosty the Snowman.
Which brings us to number 5 on the list, with Famous Funnies number 5 debuting in 1934. This is the first time we see Santa Claus on a comic book cover.
Santa Claus slated to join Avengers Secret Wars at the end of... No, I'm just joking. But obviously, the holiday spirit has collectors picking up some Santa books, and we have a 6.0 that broke record. It sold for $837 back in 2006. It's up 175%, now selling for $2,300.
Interestingly enough, after going through the entire issue, this thing is packed with comic strips. Like, coming out in 1934 for only 10 cents, there is a ton of value on the inside of this book. However, the Santa Claus story does not feature Saint Nick on the inside. We actually have just a father dressing up as Saint Nick for his family. Curious spec at the list at number 4. We're going to have our Golden Age specialist take over.
All right, sailing in at number 4 is a character that's been around since 1929 and is considered one of comics' first action heroes. He's also done more for spinach than any other figure in the history of all histories. We're talking about Popeye. Popeye Comics number 1 just sold this December 12th for $2,500 in a CGC 9.0, which is miraculous because we just saw a 9.2 sell earlier this year in March for $1,509. That's almost a $1,000 increase in 6 months. It's going to be interesting to see, as we do have a 9.4 coming up for sale in January of 2023. A great book put out by Dell Publishing in 1948, and fun to see this old school character getting some love.
Support the show directly by joining the Mystery Mail Call and give me an excuse to send you comics every single month. I teamed up with my homie Raph Cressetti, the God of War art director, to do a Berserker number 1 cover going in 1 per box. We have trade dresses, we have virgins going out at random. I've also teamed up with CBSI's own Mellow Fellow and Davis Ryder. Thanos Death Notes issue number 1, Ken Lashley trade dress, is going in every single mail call. Go to Comictom101.com to join the community, or you can hit the link in the description.
We don't need the Golden Age guru to handle this Golden Age book. Number 3 on the list, we have Batman issue 42 from 1947. It's the first appearance of Catwoman on the cover of a Batman title and the second overall Catwoman cover appearance.
Her first cover appearance would be in Detective Comics 122, Tech for short, which is a fantastic cover. And we have a 7.0 that came to market this past week, selling for $1,300 way back in 2015, up 196%. Shout out Taskmaster, selling for $3,849.
There are only 203 slabs on the census, which includes 5.5s. There's 6 8.0s, 6 8.5s, and 3 9.0s. Now, the last GPA sale is also the record high, which sold in September of 2020, where it sold for $5,640.
There's only 2 9.2s on the CGC census, and the last one sold last month when it hit $19,200. Hot damn.
There's also 2 CGC 9.4s, which is the highest grade, and the only GPA sale is $36,000 from November of 2021, which was a pedigree from the Promise collection.
Now, last week we talked about Fantastic Four 57, Dr. Doom stealing that power cosmic, fantastic Jack Kirby cover. Then you have 58, and now we have 59 making the list at number 2, Jack Kirby goodness. A 9.8 came to market, and hot damn, did it break records, because we haven't seen one since 2009 when it sold for $1,800.
This all-new record-breaking sale puts it up 180%, now selling for $5,040. There are 1,048 total copies on the CGC census, and there are 48 of the 9.8s.
There's 120 9.6s, and the last time one sold was back in 2021 November for $750. I suspect that book is going to be moving up quite a bit after that recent 9.8 sale.
I would assume the same for the 0.5. There's only one on the CGC census, and the only GPA sale from that is in April of 2011, where it sold for $5.
Hit the like. Slap the subscribe button. We're here every 7 days discussing comic books for the comic familia, keeping track of that historical record, the census, the record breakers, and more. And at the list at number 1, we have the first appearance of Tony Stark, Iron Man, Tales of Suspense 39, debuting in 1963 with a monster 9.0 record-breaking sale.
We recently talked about this book on the Hot 10 when we were talking about Iron Man issue number 1, and here it is with a monster sale. But before we get into it, we got to look at that census count. 1,947 slabs total on there. We have 53.5s, which its last sale was for $2,375. That was September of this year. The record high, however, in a 0.5 is for $4,699, which was the same month prior year.
There are 18 9.0s. There are 17 9.2s, last selling last month for $168,000. Remember that number. We also have 20 9.4s. The last GPA sale was for $99,000, and that took place in July 2020. And there are 5 9.6s. We don't have one of those seeing the market since November 2013, when it sold for $262,900. There's one 9.8 that exists with no GPA sales record. And the reason why I want you to remember that $168,000 9.2 sale that happened in November is because 1 month later, we have this sale, the one making the list, the 9.0, that hasn't seen a sale since 2019 when it sold for $52,800. With an all-new sale this month, an increase of 48%, selling for an all-new high of $78,000. Now, we have a 9.0 and a 9.2 and about 30 days to compare prices. That means for that one grade point up, it costs $90,000. Hot damn.
What do you guys think about the rumor that Robert Downey Jr. will reprise his role as Tony Stark, as Iron Man in the MCU, likely some form of AI for Riri Williams? Sound off.
Let us know in the comment section, and of course, as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. Join myself and Gem Mint on the best new place to buy and sell collectibles. It's called Whatnot, available for both Androids and iPhones, where we do dollar start auctions that last as little as 15 seconds long. We have 2 other videos for you to check out. We talk about comic books often, so just check them out. There's a lot of them, and have a great week.